The Stampeders broke a 3-game losing streak. The last time they played against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, an 18-17 win. Trevor Kennard of Winnipeg missing a 30-yard field goal with a few seconds left. Wally Buono admitted they were fortunate to come away with that win. But here they are at 6-4-1, and we are underway belatedly at the Sky Dome. And Ron Hopkins has the opening kickoff, and he is back to the Calgary 40-yard line. Terrence Jones gets the start at quarterback tonight. That decision made only last night, and you saw Jones stumble. He just ran across one of the areas where there is a mound on the field left from the baseball conversion. We hope that's not a sign of things to come this evening. Stampeders from their 40-yard line. They want to try to keep Jones inside, but he gets outside and throws a diving catch made by Pitts. And they rule that he had control inbounds at the Argo 46. Terrific catch by Alan Pitts.
It was a good catch, and I think we saw Terrence Jones, when he dropped back in the pocket, make a decision and then change his mind twice. Now he comes out and he does this well. Browner's in pursuit, but watch Pitts keep going towards the sidelines. Great catch.
Well, the booing you hear is for the replay on the big screen here at the Sky Dome, which showed that Pitts did not come down with his feet in bounds, but was given credit for the catch and a 24-yard gain. At the Argo 46, 1st and 10, and Terrence Jones took too long to get that play underway.
In a situation with a younger quarterback like Terrence Jones.
Time count violation. Calgary number 9, still first down.
I think the other 11 guys on offense have to be very much aware to get in and out of the huddle. Don't waste time getting back to the huddle. Give Jones the best opportunity. Get in the huddle at the start of the 20 seconds. So if he's going to change his mind, he has at least 12 seconds at the line of scrimmage.
Second-year quarterback Terrence Jones from Tulane, still learning. 1st and 10 from the 51 of the Argos after the penalty. And Wallace picks up 1, maybe 2 yards on a carry off the right side. Jones has Darrell Wallace and Andy McVeigh working with him in the backfield. The receiving core includes Pitts and Crawford at the wideout spots, and Beals and Canadian rookie Sapungis inside. And on the offensive line, Lloyd Fairbanks playing in his 233rd game tonight to tie Al Wilson on the all-time list for 3rd place and for most games played by an offensive lineman. Terrence Jones sprinting out on 2nd and long, and he won't get away. Well, he is away for now. He finally throws the ball, and it's no good, but there was a receiver in the area, so it'll be a legitimate incomplete pass. Terrence Jones all the way back to his 20. The line of scrimmage was the Argo 50.
Well, the goal is, if the goal is to tire out the front 4 of the Argos, he's done a pretty good job. Otherwise, he's made some bad decisions. Number 1, as you see him stumble, if there isn't a couple of reads, don't waste time. Get to the sidelines and run out of bounds or turn upfield. Right now, you're just asking for trouble, and he got away with a pretty good break, I'd say.
Matic with an excellent punt. It's in the end zone. There's a fake reverse by the Argos on the return. We'll see lots of different things from them. And down at the 10 is Pinball Clemens. We are just underway at the Sky Dome in Toronto. Minutes left in the first quarter at the Sky Dome in Toronto. Bob Irving and Neil Lumsden on the Canadian Football Network. The Toronto Argos riding a 3-game win streak and with a chance to move into first place into a tie with Winnipeg if they can win tonight. 1st and 10 at their 21-yard line. Dunnigan with 4 receivers to the right, hits screen at Darrell Smith, and he breaks up to the 29-yard line for a gain of 8, and is upset that he didn't have one more step, because if he had, he might still be running.
Well, you wonder why Calgary doesn't try to bump Smith around. The Argos do a good job of moving him around of where he starts. He doesn't always line up at the slot back. That was a good example. There's receivers on either side, +1 in motion.
2nd down and 2, and Dunnigan wants to throw, and will. Long for Darrell Smith, and he has it down to the Calgary 30-yard line.
Two combinations here. Good protection by the offensive line to allow Smith to go this far down. Now he'll make a cut across Peterson, but he's got him beat. There's no help, and the ball was thrown perfectly.
And you'll see the Argos throw on second and short. You'll see them throw almost all the time because they have the worst running attack in the CFL. They've averaged, actually the second worst, they've averaged 92 yards rushing a game, but they are second in the league in throwing, the second best total. Dunnigan from the 30 of Calgary. Daryl Smith is wide open, and he's down to the 11-yard line for another first down.
Dunnigan and Smith have their radar on this evening. Again, good protection. Watch the pocket formed for Matt Dunnigan. He sits back there unmolested. He can stand and step, throw the ball properly. He has to get the ball outside of Ford and inside the coverage from behind Smith.
Daryl Smith only 69 catches only for 959 yards. For him a subpar year, but he's more than making up for it this season. From the 11, Dunnigan. In the end zone for Boyd, and Hopkins, did he pick it off? No, it's a touchdown.
Normally you see the ball thrown up and to the outside, but you watch Hopkins will turn just as the ball gets there. Doesn't get it time to react to the ball. Boyd knows it's on its way. It goes through his hands, and Boyd just pulls it away.
Well, from here, it looked like if anybody caught that ball, it was Ron Hopkins, but it went right through, Neil, as you say, to Jeff Boyd, and the Argos have the first score.
I think Hopkins' head just turned a little bit too slow, or a little bit late, not too slow.
Chomick with the convert, an 89-yard, 4-play drive. Jeff Boyd with his 5th touchdown of the season, and the Argos lead 7-0.
You couldn't find a better picture to demonstrate the protection. A couple people kept on the line of scrimmage, the ends to the outside. Dunnigan doesn't take a deep drop. Watch this, only 2.5 steps. That means the offensive line has to be aggressive. They fire out and take the charge away from the defense. And the rest is just a clap and a touchdown.
Hopkins will look at that play and wonder how he didn't break it up.
Well, he had good coverage. He's right, the inside, the right position. Everything was fine until Boyd came down with the ball.
Matt Dunnigan, since coming back from injury, has thrown 10 touchdown passes and has only been intercepted twice. One of those interceptions tonight. Here's the kickoff by Chomick, and Hopkins brings it back, and he's down at the Calgary 38-yard line. Talked to the head coach of the Stampeders before the game, Wally Buono, about the complexities and the coverages you use when you're playing against Matt Dunnigan.
We have no special plans for Matt Dunnigan. If you start worrying about emphasizing the contain, all of a sudden the inside running game becomes much more effective. The best thing to do is everybody rush in their lanes, and if you got outside position, make sure you keep it. And when it's time for you to put your helmet on, let's put our helmet on.
So there are no complexities. You just play Matt Dunnigan with basic defense, according to Wally Buono. Terrence Jones incomplete with the first down pass. Great chance here for Jones, Neil, with Danny Barrett injured, and of course Terrence Jones had his chance and then got hurt in the Edmonton game, but an opportunity for him to make a statement.
It really was his time, and as you said, that bump in the shoulder in Edmonton has kept him out of one game, and some of that maturing time has gone away, but he's still going to have some chances.
And Jones with pressure gets it off to McVeigh, complete for a gain of a yard, and there is a flag on the field. And Terrence Jones shaken up on the play, but he looks like he's all right. Penalties against the Argos.
Major foul, roughing the quarterback. Toronto number 57, first down.
Keith Browner, the rush end, he plays to the wide side of the field. He comes in a little bit too aggressively, but watch Terrence Jones. He'll set up, but he never really gets a chance to step forward because his first step is back when he feels the rush, even though Lloyd Fairbanks has got him to the outside. And that's the shot that puts Jones down and draws the flag.
And off to Darrell Wallace on first down. Nowhere to go. He'll try to reverse his field, and if he can get around the corner, he may be able to pick up some room, but the Argos won't allow it. Good pursuit. And it was Browner who came over to make the stop and drop Wallace for a 3-yard loss. The Argo defense has Keith Browner and Quick Parker at the ends, Hallman and Harding inside. That's a very good front four. Chris Gaines, the middle linebacker. Don Moen playing his 148th consecutive game at linebacker. And the secondary with Chris Mumford starting at safety. And he's only been there a couple of games, but is playing very well, according to Don Matthews. 2nd and 13. Stampeders at their 51. Jones stands in this time and delivers the ball to Alan Pitts. And they really caught it at the Argo 48-yard line. They'll come up 2 yards away from a first down.
Well, there was the difference. That time Terrence Jones does stand in and steps forward to deliver the ball to Pitts.
Seems to have a reluctance to do that, and that comes with experience and all the rest of it. He hasn't had a lot of experience. Terrence Jones hasn't played maybe as much as they'd like to have seen him play the last couple of years, but that's something he will have to learn.
It's something that happens in games, or unless you have a live scrimmage, because when you practice during the week, the people peel off. They don't jump in your face and try to hit you, so it's not something you get used to in practice. It'll come with time.
3rd down and just under 2 yards. The Stampeders will punt. Matic a high kick. Mike Clemens at the 7-yard line. And Clemens across the 15 to the 17-yard line. Mark Singer made the stop. Mike Clemens having an outstanding year. He's missed 2 games. He has combined for over 1,700 yards in kickoff returns, punt returns, receiving yardage, and rushing yardage, and he has scored 7 touchdowns.
And you'll find him anywhere. He'll line up at wide receiver, slot, halfback, be the only back in the backfield. He'll motion out. You almost need a radar detector to keep track of the guy.
5'6", 170, almost 200 yards a game in yardage for Mike Clemens. And this time he carries and finds very little room. This is not his forte. He's only carried the ball 54 times this season coming into this game for 252 yards. But they use him more on pass receiving, and of course he returns a lot of kicks. 61 kick returns, both punt and kickoff, entering this game.
But when he does carry the ball, Bob, you have to be very aware that he doesn't make a cutback against your defense. And in that time, the defensive end didn't go down the line. He stayed and waited for that cutback.
Dunnigan sprinting right on 2nd and 9. Throws wide open. Andrew Murray at the 27 across the 30 and up to the 32-yard line. And he gives the Argos a first down. And Don Matthews is just thrilled with the play that Andrew Murray has given him.
Oh, he's always been a good receiver, and Dunnigan will get out to our left, his right. The offensive linemen are all reaching. See how they're keeping the defense on the line of scrimmage? There is no one that has penetrated to get upfield to get Matt Dunnigan off his path to the outside. And Murray will work. He will find that spot as he did there and give the quarterback a target.
Draft pick of BC in '87, Andrew Murray let go by the Lions, and Matthews happy to bring him in here, and he's done quite a job. Clemens off the right side. And this is what Mike Clemens can do with that quickness, and he's into Calgary territory to the 52-yard line.
Clemens just pops through a double block, and you're going to see a great view of it right here. There go the left tackle's pulling. Everyone moves one way. Watch the block he scrapes through. Right there. Not a lot of room, but he's not a big guy.
He doesn't need a lot of room.
No.
He is quick. Peterson knocked him out of bounds. 26-yard run for Mike Clemens. And the Argos leading 7-0 with 40 seconds left in the opening quarter. Our first down in Calgary territory. And Kevin Smelly with Ken Warnick on his back adds another 8 or 9 yards. What an addition Kevin Smelly has been, coming over from Saskatchewan, traded to the Argos for Toronto's first-round draft pick next year. He was a first-round pick of Saskatchewan last year, refused to report, wanted to play in this area, and is getting his wish and is delivering for Don Matthews. Outstanding blocker and not a bad ball carrier. 2nd and a yard. Same action as on the previous play, but this time Dunnigan keeps the ball and is inside the 25 to the Calgary 23-yard line.
Well, Matt Finley is left out on an island. He's right in between. When you run the option, you want somebody to hit the quarterback and to take the ball carrier, the potential ball carrier. And you see Dunnigan go upfield. Matt Finley tries to play both. That's impossible to do. Dunnigan reads it. The option is not something new to him.
Dunnigan not running much since he came back from the knee injury. Has a pulled quadricep muscle, which hampers his ability, but anybody who knows anything about Matt Dunnigan knows that he will run if the chance is there. He'll pass, of course. This one to Mike Clemens, who's still on his feet. Mike Clemens down at the 1-yard line. What an effort by Clemens. And on that high note, the first quarter ends with the Argos leading by 1-yard line. First and touchdown to go. 3 receivers to the left side, but Matt Dunnigan is keeping it, and he has a touchdown.
Seems somewhat fitting. The man who orchestrated the drive is the guy who takes it in. Just get down low behind Bob Skemp, Beckstead, and Prunster. Don't stop your legs moving, and that's exactly what Matt Dunnigan does. He just piles in there.
Talk about Dunnigan playing in less than perfect health, Neil. You take him over a lot of quarterbacks at 30%. He's about 70 tonight, so that's quite acceptable. Matt Dunnigan scores his 5th touchdown of the year.
This is how they got down there. Mike Clemens, a tremendous effort. You think with his size, he might not be able to break a lot of tackles, but he's the 3rd receiver right there. He breaks one, breaks another one, a couple more on the way to the goal line. That's what they want to do with Mike Clemens. They want to put you as a defense into so many different ways to have to defend him. Throw him the ball to the backfield, hand him the ball, and even send him deep.
And that's where being small can help, because Walter Ballard tried to hit him high, and there was no high.
And there hasn't been a whole lot of high for the Stampeders thus far.
14-0 Toronto. Lance Chomick kicking off out of that strange-looking formation that we've seen all season long. So we've become somewhat used to it, although I don't know if we'll ever get totally used to it. Darrell Wallace cut down nicely. Good play by Bruce Elliott to limit the return.
Bruce Elliott had a chance to start at a rush end. He's always played special teams, and that has been his forte. Aggressive, he's tenacious, and he knows how to get to the ball without giving up his lane. Takes on a block, keeps the blocker to his outside, and then just lays out, pulls down Hopkins. Couldn't do it any better.
That was a special teams clinic by Bruce Elliott. Stampeders from their 32.5-yard line, 1st and 10. Terrence Jones sends 3 receivers wide right and then hands off to Wallace, but he's tripped up in the backfield. Quick Parker pinned him, but it was Harold Hallman who got through to make the first contact. James Quick Parker, what a career this man has had. 32 years of age, 5-time All-Canadian, 3-time winner of the top defensive player award in the CFL.
He's lost some of that quick, but I don't think he's lost any of the savvy and the knowledge and the experience that he's gotten. It shows.
Still very much worth having around is James Quick Parker. 2nd and 11. Stampeders from their 31, and Jones did not get the play off on time. So the Stampeders on offense are unable to get anything done right thus far.
Time count violation. Calgary number 9. Still 2nd down.
Wally Buono told us that if he makes a quarterback change, and you see he's not very happy about developments, the first man he will go to would be Rick Warman, and then if he can't get it going, he would switch to Tom Porras. Jones will have to hurry, and he just got it off. 1 second left on the 20-second clock as he got that play off. Has a man wide open and completes it up to the 47-yard line. That's Dave Sapunjas, and that's a Stampeder first down, and that's exactly what they needed.
Well, once again, it starts as somewhat of a drop back, but Jones is going to be forced out again. This time when he's forced, he slows down a bit. You see Sapunjas in the bottom part of your screen. He goes down that seam with the defense rotating to that side of the field. He's able to find that seam, but more importantly, able to get Jones's attention.
From the 47, the Stampeders, who don't have many first downs, have one, but now they have a big loss. Back to their 35, and Rodney Harding led the charge.
It's only Harding's 3rd sack of the year, but he's always tough to contend with inside. He gives you that quickness of a defensive end and the power of an inside tackle, and that's what he does. He just gets away from people that are blocking him, finds that seam, and gets in the face of Terrence Jones and takes him down.
Argos aren't among the leaders in the league in quarterback sacks. They had 26 coming into this game, but chalk another one up for Rodney Harding. Second down and 20 yards to go. Stampeders back at their 37. And it's a draw play to Andy McVeigh. And he gets it back past the original line of scrimmage and maybe a yard beyond. So they regain the real estate that Jones lost and a little bit more, but will still have to punt.
I like the call. It doesn't get them the first down, but it does give them a positive play. It shows Toronto that they're not afraid to use either McVeigh or Darrell Wallace. And I think that's important. You can't be unbalanced in your backfield.
Brent Matic will punt. First time in the second quarter, but the fourth time in the game, and he gets a dandy away to Mike Clemens at the 15. And Clemens brings it all the way back to the 41-yard line. The Argos lead 14-0 early in the second quarter. That was a 45-yard punt by Harper, a 10-yard return by Crawford. The Stampeders trailing 15-0 with 4.5 minutes left in the second quarter. Start from their 13-yard line. Terrence Jones stays on at quarterback. Hands off to Wallace. Darrell Wallace fumbles. And the Argos, Chris Gaines has it.
Well, Gaines will start to move to the opening after the ball is handed off to Wallace in a natural reaction. You see him make his read. You see him try to grasp a little more air too, but see, he's going to read what's happening. He's going to go to the hole, or what he thinks is going to be the hole. He's blocked well at the line of scrimmage by the offensive line, but lo and behold, Wallace gets the ball stripped, and he happened to be in the right spot.
That's the 46th giveaway of the season by Calgary, which is the third highest total in the CFL. Chris Gaines shaken up on the play. The Stampeders, though, are -6 in that takeaway giveaway category. Boy, it just kills you when you turn it over at your own 15-yard line, and that's what they've done. Ricky Foggy will run the quarterback draw. He gets outside. He's to the 10, the 5. Ricky Foggy has a touchdown.
The Argos send 3 receivers to one side, to the left of Foggy. You see his reaction. I think he wanted to hit straight upfield, but changed his mind. Finley reads the play immediately, reacts, but gets caught inside. And when you get close to the goal line, some guys will go down a little bit low. Foggy stands up and delivers there.
Chris Gaines trying to shake off the bump he took when he recovered the fumble. He still got the ball. And the Argos have their third. Chomik with a convert, and we have a 22-0 football game. Toronto leading Calgary.
Well, the game plan right now for the Argos is working to perfection. And even when it's clogged up in the middle or where it's supposed to go, the Argos and their abilities have been able to turn possibly a negative into a positive.
Well, the Argos picked Foggy up off the BC Lion practice roster a couple of weeks ago. The Lions weren't very happy about it because Toronto didn't contact BC and let them know what they were doing. That's what most teams do in those situations. But they didn't want to take that chance. They were desperate to get another quarterback in here, so they called Ricky Foggy, and he was in Toronto in the snap of a finger. And they will use his talents tonight with Matt Dunnigan injured. Lance Chomik kicking off to Ron Hopkins at the 30. Hopkins away from a couple of Argos, still on his feet at the 40. Ron Hopkins is out to the Calgary 54, and maybe that'll give the Stampeders a little life. They need something. Well, part of that good return by Hopkins was taken away by an objectionable conduct penalty against the Stampeders. The ball moves back to their 43 instead of the 53. And that's where Terrence Jones will begin this drive from. Big rush. Jones center screen to McVeigh. There's a flag down, a late hit on Jones as McVeigh has a 13, maybe a 14-yard gain. Don Moen coming on a blitz at a clean shot at Jones, and he took it.
Good execution of Terrence Jones, spreading out. He's got a running back, Darrell Wallace, to his left,
Major
almost
foul,
like
roughing the passer. Toronto number 36. First down.
almost like he's going to drop the ball and throw it out wide. But with this motion left, he also brings the defense of the Argos. There's the hit. No hesitation for the flag, so they'll tack on some more yardage to a pretty good run by McVeigh.
It's the left shoulder of Terrence Jones, the one that's injured. He took that pop on the right shoulder, landed on his left shoulder, but he's still in there. From the Argo 37, Calgary with their best scoring chance of the game, and Jones throws it deep, and no good. Intended for Sean Beals, but he was very well covered. 24-year-old Terrence Jones from Tulane University, powerful arm, great mobility. 3:03 left in the first half at the Sky Dome, where the Argos have dominated. Foggy with lots of time is able to find Clemens. He fumbles. And the Calgary Stampeders have recovered. So the Toronto drive stalls with 1:45 left in the first half.
Calgary defense has been very successful getting to the quarterback up until this point. And even again, Foggy has the opportunity to sit there and pick and get another look with a little bit of pressure. But this is their first break. He tries to complete the ball, does downfield to Clemens, but a good aggressive play by number 7, Darrell Hall. Pops it out. Now see if they can get it in the end zone. They have 1:45 left before the half.
We saw warming up, but Terrence Jones stays in at quarterback and throws no good. Intended for Alan Pitts. Catchable ball, but he couldn't squeeze it. So the difficult circumstances continue for Terrence Jones as Wally Buono talks to John Huffnagel, his offensive coach. He'll have some work to do at halftime. 2nd and 10, Stamps at their 38. Jones calling an audible, it appears, as he's done often in this first half. Swings it out to Darrell Wallace, but again he couldn't get in position to catch the ball. And once more the Calgary offense and a confused looking Terrence Jones will head to the bench. They've been there a lot tonight.
Which means their defense has been on the field an awful lot. And they've got to be wearing down a bit. They've had to chase Dunnigan and now Foggy. And when you have a quarterback that can pressure your defense laterally like that, they're going to get tired if they spend that much time in the field.
They're after Matic's punt, and they've blocked it. The Toronto Argos have blocked the punt, and Nastasiuk has a touchdown.
Stasiuk just gets to the Argos a couple weeks ago, dressing for the game, blocked by number 2, Reg Pleasant. And that's what I call the good old-fashioned Argo bounce.
A 22-yard run by Paul Nastasiuk, who was released by the BC Lions before the start of this season. Brought in just a few days ago. Reggie Pleasant blocked the kick by Don Matthews. He was living in Barrie, Ontario, which is his hometown, and Matthews wanted to bring Nastasiuk in to back up at that fullback position, and here he is scoring a touchdown.
That's linebacker Keith Costello. And Nastasiuk's acquisition is very timely with Ryan Hansen on his way out west. Reg Pleasant doesn't just go for the block, he goes for where the ball's going to be. And he hits it right on the button. There must have been 3 or 4 there could have gotten it.
He got that beautiful bounce. Braisley and Reggie Pleasant celebrate. And the Calgary Stampeders, young Brent Matic, shaking his head. It's been a kind of a night for literally every Stampeder. Argos have suffered the majority of the injuries with Dunnigan out of the game. Chris Schultz is back. He went off for a while, but is back now on their offensive line. Mike Clemens was shaken up early, but he came back. Wally Buono. Now, what is a coach? What do you do at halftime here now? It's 28-0. It'll soon be 29.
I don't think I can tell you on the air.
Obviously, you'll regroup.
Oh, you have to try to settle people down. If they can score 3-4 touchdowns and a half, so can the Calgary Stampeders. But they need more help from their offense. They've got to be able to sustain drives and keep their defense off the field. And if they don't do that, it's going to be a long evening for the Stampeders.
Had a big game tonight at the Sky Dome, throwing for a touchdown and scoring one before he got hurt. Midway through the second quarter, looked like he pulled a hamstring. He hurt the back of his left leg and was taken from the field on a cart and hobbled into the dressing room. But Ricky Foggy has just picked up where Dunnigan left off, and the Argos are ahead 29-0 as Wallace runs back to Chomik. Kickoff and has a hole on the left side into Argo territory to their 53-yard line with 1:20 left in the half. So Calgary still with time to get some points. They have the time. We'll see if they have the execution. They haven't so far. 32-yard return by Wallace as Terrence Jones continues at quarterback. Jones throws and completes to Alan Pitts. Good play by Pitts and Jones and a 16-yard Stampeder gain. Now that's Terrence Jones at his best. He has a terrific arm. He can throw on the run, as we just saw. That's what they're looking for from Jones so far tonight. He hasn't been able to make it happen. He throws again for Pitts on first down, and Ed Berry gets in there to break up the play.
Well, Jones makes the right read, because Terrence Jones has to see, and does see, Carl Brazeley coming to the one side on a blitz. When you blitz, you have to go man coverage downfield, or sometimes, and when you go man coverage, Ed Berry does it pretty well. At least he did that time. Can't get any closer without being called for interference.
Berry has 6 interceptions. Jones is 8 out of 16 in the passing department for 97 yards. 2nd and 10 Stamps at the Argo 37. Jones throws, good throw. First down. Crawford has a touchdown. "37 yards. Terrence Jones to Derek Crawford."
See him signaling for 2, whether they should go for a 2-point conversion or not. But this will get you going in at half into the dressing room at a upbeat. It has to. You have to have something to feel good about. And this play is, I would say, a good start for the Stampeders. Crawford gets some separation, but works back to Terrence Jones. And if Crawford can break a tackle, as most coaches know in this league, he can take it an awful lot further, and he does there. And they've, the Stampeders really haven't done a very good job at getting the ball to their wide receiver, Pitts and Crawford, in the last couple of weeks. There have been signs in the last couple of minutes, though.
Flags come down as Mark McLaughlin kicks the convert. That's the 10th touchdown of the year for Derek Crawford. He has 6 of them on pass receptions. He has 3 on punt returns and another on a kickoff return.
Illegal substitution. Calgary number 76. The convert is good. 10 yards on the kickoff.
Well, confidence comes in different ways, and I think this has to help Terrence Jones. So they're going to sprint out. They pull Leo Blanchard. He gets a chance to set up. There's a little bit of action. There's some movement in front of his face. Yet for the first time, he's delivered a good strike, a touchdown strike, and stood in there and really threw the ball with some authority and not being pressured.
Well, that's a very, very big score for the Stampeders with a minute left in the half. And what it'll do, Neil, in all likelihood, is keep Terrence Jones in the game in the second half. I'm sure we wouldn't have seen him start the second half had he not taken the team down and scored there, but he looked very impressive doing it.
You're probably absolutely right. But if he doesn't continue that type of work with the offense, moving the football, then I think we could see a change, and probably quickly.
McLaughlin kicks off. Darrell Smith will return. Mike Clemens will try to block for him. Daryl Smith is across center field to the Stampeder 52. We have 53 seconds left and don't think we've seen all the scoring yet in this half. And if you've just tuned in, we're happy to have you here. Jeff Boyd scored the first touchdown of the game on a pass from Matt Dunnigan at 10:14 of the first quarter, and then Dunnigan ran one in himself early in the second before he got hurt. Ricky Foggy added another Toronto touchdown following a Chomik single to put the Argos ahead 22-0. They made it 29-0, blocking a Matic punt and Nastasiuk taking it in, and then Derek Crawford with a 37-yard pass from Terrence Jones put the Stampeders on the scoreboard. But Ricky Foggy and the Argos looked for more of the pass, and all alone was Andrew Murray, but it was beyond his reach.
Well, Murray just settles down. Calgary goes into a 3-deep defense, and he just really finds a spot between the drop of the linebackers and the 3 deep defensive backs. And you see another Argo down. Dr. Bob Jackson on the right there, attending to Carl Braisley, I believe.
It is Carl Braisley. Been a rough first half for the Argos, injury-wise. Otherwise, it's been a great first half for them. 2nd and 10 now for Foggy and the Argos from the Toronto 52. 47 seconds left in the half. Foggy to Murray. What a catch. Down to the Calgary 30-yard line. He was hit hard, but he stayed with the ball.
Well, he knew he's going to take a shot, and he does exactly that because he has to go up and extend himself. Peterson really has a target laid on his back and pop right there. And when he does get up, he takes 2 steps, and then he goes back down again. And there he is.
21-yard gain, and he really came down hard on that right shoulder. But it looks like it's a leg injury. He's holding his right leg. That's Murray's asset, Neil, is his toughness. The other reason that Don Matthews brought him in here, and one of the reasons after BC let him go, was he's a positive influence on Matt Dunnigan. He helps Dunnigan calm himself down a little bit. Yeah. He's a very good relationship with Matt Dunnigan.
He's also a pretty good receiver, and Don Matthews told us that he's surprised that a player like that is let go. As you see, Keith Costello with some ice on his left leg.
This was Matt Dunnigan in the second quarter favoring his left leg. He grabbed the back of the upper part of his left leg on the play in which he was injured. We still haven't received word on exactly what it is, but it's certainly in that hamstring area, and it is a hamstring injury. So the Argos ready to go. The clock is running. They're 1st and 10 at the Calgary 30. And Mike Clemens has the ball on a handoff and gains a yard to the 29 with 21 seconds left in the half. Kent Warnock made the stop.
And a good play by Warnock, because as we've seen, the defensive ends of the Stampeders have to come upfield and contain, not let anything outside of them. But at the same time, they've got to be able to react to the inside. And that's what Warnock did there.
Clock is running. Argos down to 15 seconds. 2nd down and 9 from the Calgary 30. Foggy into the end zone. Daryl Smith. Touchdown.
Right on the money is Ricky Foggy. Puts it where it has to be so Daryl Smith can catch it. The coverage is there. Greg Peterson is in chase to the inside. So if the ball's thrown to the inside, it can't be complete because Smith can't go get it. It's right up the seam. He's got Albert Thomas beat, but it's up over top. And the timing is perfect when he leaves his feet to catch the football.
Chomik adds the convert, and the Argos have a 36-7 lead with 5 seconds left in the first half. And Daryl Smith has his 11th touchdown of the year.
You see Smith go up that seam. He strides away from Albert Thomas. Peterson does come over and does Hopkins from the backside, but that was too late.
You're not too far where I can't come get you, baby. I'm coming. I'm coming.
153 yards in the first half for Daryl Smith. He's up to 1,265 yards on the season, 68 catches, and he still has 6 games after tonight. So does Wally Buono and his Calgary Stampeders. Buono hopes those 6 aren't anywhere near what this one has been like. Chomick kicks off. Matt Finley will bring it back. Pretty good running by the Calgary linebacker, and he's to the Argo 42-yard line. And that play will end the first half. First half that was dominated in nearly every respect by the Toronto Argos, and they lead 36. Early in the third quarter at the Skydome in Toronto, the Argos lead the Calgary Stampeders 36-7. The Stamps from their 18-yard line with the ball for the first time in the second half. Terrence Jones rolls to his left and throws high, and it's intercepted. Don Wilson, and he has a touchdown.
There's not a lot of bodies there to begin with in the first place. They're going to roll to the short side of the field, so it's going to draw some defenders over. And with the miscue on the catch, the ball goes up. It's just like a tip ball. They practice it throughout training camp. It's a boring drill, but sometimes it pays off.
Well, it's fun when it winds up like that in a game. Don Wilson, a 26-yard return, and it just continues to get worse for the Stampeders. Chomick with the convert, and it's 43-7 Argos. You're watching Molson Canadian Football Network. Argos have scored on offense on a blocked punt, and now they've scored on an interception return. Don Wilson, 26 yards of a Terrence Jones pass that was tipped, and they enjoy a 43-7 lead on the Calgary Stampeders as the cover men on the kickoff fan out, and Chomick hits the ball. Wallace back to the 30. Darrell Wallace breaks through. No, it's Derek Crawford with the ball, and Crawford is all the way to the 34-yard line of the Toronto Argos after kind of looking back to his fellow return man and maybe faking a reverse. Found a big hole, but a holding penalty against the Stampeders will bring it back, and that would figure. Well, the start of tonight's game again was delayed about 20 minutes because of the playing conditions at the Skydome. The conversion from baseball to football not properly done. Commissioner Don Crump joins us. Don, what can you tell us? What has transpired since the start of the game?
Well, we had an interesting start, as you know, Bob, and the Dome officials said that, in their opinion, the field was safe to play, and they agreed to give us an indemnification against that. At this point in time, they're refusing to sign that for some reason that I'm not aware of, but it's the only facility in the world that I know that is unable to turn a baseball field into a football field overnight, whether you don't have to hang any speakers, there's no aerial acts, there's nothing else except it's sheer incompetence by the management here. As a matter of fact, I understand the management here was out golfing today, so you can take from that how interested they were in this game.
Don, will we hear more about this? Is the CFL going to pursue this and take some action?
Absolutely. Whatever avenues are open to us, we're going to pursue.
Thank you, Don. We appreciate your coming by.
Thank you very much.
Don Crump, the commissioner of the Canadian Football League, discussing a very unfortunate situation. And I think we were all troubled on 2nd and 1 for Calgary by the fact that they did not go to the trouble of getting this facility in the proper condition for an athletic event, be it a football game or whatever. Andy McVeigh carrying for a first down for the Stampeders.
Well, the biggest investment a sports team or a sports franchise makes is in their personnel. And anytime there's any chance or opportunity to jeopardizing that investment, as any good business knows, you don't take it. And that's what the Skydome was doing. They were jeopardizing not only one franchise, but 2 franchises in their personnel.
Terrence Jones, play action. Oh, he's in big trouble. He uses speed to get away from a lot of it, and now he's headed back upfield. Terrence Jones to the Calgary 53-yard line, and he'll turn that into a gain of 3 or 4 sheerly through his athletic ability, and there's an injured Argo back upfield. Harold Hallman was shaken up, but he's working his way back to the defensive huddle. Now he will wait till they come out and have a look at him.
That was great hustle by Hallman. He comes from the backside and was doing his best to chase down Jones. There's a huge mismatch as far as speed goes, and you'll see him as he lays out. Knows he can't catch him, but if he can tip a heel, and he'll go for that heel right about there. And he might have jammed his finger at the same time.
Terrence Jones has been in that position a number of times tonight where he's dropped back and has been unable to get the play off that he wanted and has been running for his life. Carl Braisley has injured his hip for the Argos. Matt Dunnigan went out of the game early in the second quarter.
I hope they have an awfully big ice machine in the Argos dressing room, because they're going to need it.
Looks like they're checking out Harold Hallman's right arm. It turned out to be a pretty good trade for the Argos. They gave up Doug Landry to get Harold Hallman back in 1988. Bob Obilovich was behind that trade to a large extent. Doug Landry had some problems here in Toronto, and so Bob Obilovich felt he would be better off elsewhere. Traded him to Calgary, and now Obilovich and Landry are back together in BC. And they have sat down and discussed things and are at a harmonious level right now. Landry initially said he wouldn't play for Obilovich in BC, but has changed his mind. Don Matthews liking what he's seeing tonight, Neil, in every respect except the injury factor.
That's the one thing you can't control. You can put your game plans together and get your players prepared to execute that game plan, of which they've done an excellent job. But there's that one situation you can't control. That's injuries. 2nd and 6, Stamps. Terrence Jones throws complete to Sapunjas, reaching back to make the catch down to the Argo 39-yard line. Well, a great adjustment by Dave Sapunjas as far as his body. He's expecting that ball to come to the inside, so he is preparing himself to catch it there. It's thrown a little bit behind him, so he has to get himself, swing himself around and corral the ball, and does it well. Toronto native from Western Ontario, Dave Sapunjas, first-round draft pick this year. Great potential. Terrence Jones, what a move he made to keep that play going. There's another nice one across the 30 and into the Toronto 28-yard line. He'll have a gain of about 10 yards. Looks like Wally Buono O'Neill has made a decision that Terrence Jones is going to stay in this game to get some very valuable experience. And I think having moved the ball at the end of the first half showed the coaching staff, John Huffnagel, who runs the offense, and Wally Buono, that maybe he's starting to get comfortable. You have to sacrifice some things for the future, and maybe this is one of those games where you leave him in because you know this is going to help him. From the 28, the option toss to Wallace. Nice cutback by Wallace, and he's close to the Argo 10-yard line. He does make a good cutback. He was dipsy-doodling outside there. A little bit of the Argo medicine right back at them with the option. Wallace running to the outside, a fake to the inside to McVeigh right here. Put it back on your hip, and away you go. Makes Browner make a choice, a missed tackle. Watch the block coming up right now. Fairbanks makes a pretty good hit. 6 carries rather for Wallace, 26 yards. It's 1st and 10, Stamps at the Argo 11. Jones again, can't stay in the pocket, throws back for Pitts. Beals a little further downfield, had come open, but Terrence Jones wasn't able to get the ball to him. Trying to give Jones different looks. They're bringing combinations of people. We've seen Braisley come on a blitz. This time it was Chris Mumford from the safety, but he had positioned himself up on the line of scrimmage. So I think Terrence Jones is getting a pretty good look at different types of defenses, because I bet you Toronto wants to throw everything at him. Terrence Jones in the Calgary offense, 2nd and 10 at the Argo 11. Jones, and will he get it off? No, he's dropped back at the 21. Once again, Mumford comes from the same side, the short side of the field. Twin Peaks. Backside, Terrence Jones doesn't know it and doesn't feel it. And downfield, the secondary, the people that were left and responsible for covering the receivers, did a heck of a job, because there was nowhere for Terrence Jones to throw the football. Mumford is Simon Fraser product, who was born in Nigeria and has come on to do a nice job at safety for the Argos in the last couple of weeks. McLaughlin will attempt a 27-yard field goal
And he makes it, and the Stamps are into double figures. It's now Toronto 43 and Calgary 10 with 7 minutes and 41 seconds left in the third quarter. Terrence Jones played in 13 games last year for the Stampeders, but didn't get a lot of playing time, and he should benefit from what is happening tonight. 5:20 left, third quarter. 43-10. Argos looking for 50. Will they get it here? Second down and goal from the 10. They fake the Statue of Liberty. Foggy into the end zone. Mazzotti, touchdown.
With that play action, it puts extra pressure on your defensive backs downfield because it gives the receiver a little bit more time to do his work and to get deeper. And right there, that fake could hold a defensive back, even if it's for a split second. It doesn't have to be long because the receiver, as we know, has the advantage. He knows what's going to happen.
And the convert makes it an even 50 for the Argos. They lead the Stampeders 50-10. Mazzotti has his 4th touchdown of the season, and Ricky Foggy is just rolling along where Matt Dunnigan left off when he went out with the injury early in the second quarter, with the Argos ahead 14-0. Eddie Brown on the return for the Stampeders, and he's back to their 43-yard line. Eddie Brown is the designated import for Calgary, a wide receiver. As Acadia graduate Paul Mazzotti with the 5 o'clock shadow and a big smile moves up and down the Toronto bench area. He and Andrew Murray telling each other how beautifully everything's working tonight, and they're right. 4:50 left, third quarter. Terrence Jones stays on at quarterback for the Stamps. We expect to see him there for the rest of the game unless he gets hurt. There's a flag down for holding on the Stampeders. It has to be that, as Harding was grabbed from behind. McVeigh on the receiving end of the pass and picking up 3 or 4 yards.
Call will be on Lloyd Fairbanks, who put the big hook out on Harding, as you said. You know, in fairness to the offensive line, there's only so long they can contain the defensive pass rush.
Holding Calgary number 66. First down repeated.
Watch number 66. Good job of blocking. Everything's fine, but there's the pull right there when Harding starts to slant towards the quarterback.
Everything was fine for a while.
Well, it was tough. It's tough for an offensive lineman. I mean, the quarterback moves. They don't know where he moves to, so they're kind of blocking blind, and it was a long time.
233rd game of Fairbanks' career. This is 16th year. He ties Al Wilson for the most games by an offensive lineman in CFL history. Here's McVeigh on the receiving end of the pass, and he's up to the 50 of the Stampeders. 37-year-old Lloyd Fairbanks, 6-time Division All-Star Fairbanks and a 2-time All-Canadian. And when do we notice him most? When he gets a holding penalty.
Thankless position, that offensive line.
Terrence Jones on second down completes a bullet to Sapunjus. They'll mark that at the Stampeder 53, and he'll be a little bit short of a first down.
I think Lloyd Fairbanks hit it on the head. A couple weeks ago he said, and I'll paraphrase, that we're not the most talented team, but we're good when we play together. We have to play as a unit. And I think that was so far a classic example. They can't look to 1 or 2 individuals to make the difference. They have to play well together. And every team does, but a lot of teams like Edmonton, and it was proven earlier on tonight, Toronto, they have certain individuals that can make a difference on an ongoing basis.
What the Stampeders need too, Neil, in addition to playing together, is they need to get Danny Barrett back at quarterback. He has a broken bone in his foot. They took the cast off this week and took a look at it. It looks pretty good, and he could be back in a couple of weeks. Stampeders will gamble on 3rd down. Jones keeps and gets the 1st down. They're targeting Danny Barrett's return on the 7th of October. And again, it looks like Wally Buono has decided that Terrence Jones will stay in the game to get the experience that he so badly needs. On the other hand, you have a player who's playing with a bit of an injury problem, and so I guess you risk aggravating that.
But not an injury that is can cause any structural damage, and they have a 10-day break, so he'll have a chance to rest up that shoulder. What he needs is playing experience, and that's what he's getting. Andy
McVeigh out of the backfield over the middle, and Terrence Jones dumps it off to him for a 7-yard gain. 2:21 left, 3rd quarter, 50-10. Toronto leading Calgary. Stampeders will get 3 days off after this game. At least that was the plan Wally Buono had before the game, and I don't think he'll change it, even given tonight's events. A break at this time of the year will be good. Jones throws, and the ball is dropped by Pitts. And he's had 3 or 4 dropped tonight, has Terrence Jones, that he has put on the money, but the receivers couldn't hang on to.
Well, coming into the game, Pitts was the most productive as far as yardage. He had 717 yards on 34 catches, and those statistics weren't padded much in the last couple of weeks. As I mentioned earlier, they have not gone to their wideouts a whole lot, but those are the, when they come to you, you better catch them.
3rd down and about 3.5 for the Stampeders at the Argo 49, and they'll go for it. Jones for Pitts. This one he catches, and he has the Stampeder 1st down to the Argo 41. Alan Pitts, one of the many bright young new faces on the Calgary team this year.
Well, same type of play. He comes back, and this time he catches the ball away from his body with his hands, so when the shot is given, the jar is taken by the body. It doesn't pop the ball out.
So from the Argo 40, the Stampeders 1st and 10. Terrence Jones, as the rush comes, gets it away, and wide open is Sapunjas, and he can't quite get away, or he might have been in the end zone. Tackle was made by Chris Munford.
Although it does seem a little bit late to matter, I think Terrence Jones is now becoming a little bit more familiar and comfortable downfield, seeing what's happening, making the reads. Big number 90, Rob Smith, comes in and going to put a lick on Terrence Jones, but decides that wasn't necessary and didn't want a chance of flag.
There's a 24-yard gain, and the toss goes to Wallace. There's a flag down. Darrell Wallace will score for Calgary, but there is a flag on the play. Offside Argos, so the touchdown run of 16 yards will stand.
A well-executed play. Watch to the outside. 88, Sean Beals. He'll make the block right. Sorry, it wasn't Beals. It was the wide receiver, Pitts, coming in. He makes the block and seals that corner and allows Wallace to just sprint to the corner.
And the Stampeders will attempt a 2-point convert. It's 50-16. Jones from the 5 into the end zone, and Alan Pitts has it. And it's a 50-18 game. Toronto leading Calgary with 20 seconds remaining now in the 3rd quarter.
Bob, don't you believe it is going to pay off to leave Terrence Jones in the game?
Yeah, I do. I think he has to play.
I don't think it's a matter of risking injury.
No, I think they're doing absolutely the right thing, as Darrell Wallace did the right thing there, but he's a 2nd-year quarterback who requires development still, and he has to play. And he's playing tonight. And undoubtedly learning as he goes along.
Makes it easier to learn, too, when you're having some success. I know as a team, they've had somewhat of a dismal showing, especially in the, more so in the 1st half. This is all very positive for him.
Kickoff by McLaughlin down to the 19-yard line. Darrell Smith brings it back, and he's stopped at the 39 of the Argos. 50-18 for the Argos, not 50-10. It was a few seconds ago, but the Stampeders just got a touchdown.
Yeah, it's been tough getting there. Give them that 7 points.
Let's not deny them what they have worked so hard to get. First down handoff for the Argos goes to Kevin Smelly, and he is stopped, and that play ends the third quarter with the Argos headed for their 7th win of the season, it appears, with a 32-point lead. They ahead and headed for their 4th straight victory and a share of first place in CFL East with Winnipeg. Bombers with a game in hand after tonight, and they'll make that up Sunday when they host Saskatchewan at 1 o'clock Winnipeg time. Second down and 9. Argos, the ball at their 40-yard line. Foggy, and his pass is tipped and is almost intercepted by the Stampeders. Ken Warnock reached out, got one hand on it, but the spinning ball fell to the turf.
Warnock makes a diving effort. Foggy a little bit too close there. I think it was Mitchell Price got his left hand up and knocked it down. Then it was a scramble after that. Warnock, who left the game last week with a sore foot, fortunately it was nothing too serious. His arch was giving him a problem, but that's, you can't believe that an arch would keep him, a sore arch would keep him out of the game when he played 3 games last year with a broken foot.
We got a call for start.
Harper has not been very busy tonight, but he will punt now on 3rd down and 9 at the Argo 40. Crawford at his 27-yard line. Derek Crawford lost his footing and fell at the 30-yard line. Terrence Jones sacked back at the Calgary 14-yard line by Harold Hallman.
Tell you what, they just came out of the chute. Didn't even seem like they were touched, specifically James Parker and Harold Hallman. It's time to warm up Rick Warman. You saw Terrence Jones down very quickly out to see what his problem is. Watch how they come off the football here. Jones barely gets a chance to look back upfield, and all of a sudden swamp.
I don't think it was the case that time, Neil, but it seems to me on 2 or 3 of these plays, the Stampeders have wanted to set up a screen, but they haven't been able to.
It's probably a great call because you've got the defense flying upfield and coming to the quarterback, but you've got to give your defensive lineman a shot. You know, you have to stagger him and then let him go.
We're just underway in the 4th quarter at the Sky Dome. Calgary quarterback Terrence Jones came into this game with an injured left shoulder, and it looks like he's aggravated that problem on a sack by Harold Hallman of the Argos. So Rick Warman comes into the game, and he'll look down the barrel at a 2nd down and 25 from the Calgary 16-yard line.
Warman gets in the huddle with the 22nd clock at 4.
And there's the delay of game penalty, as they had whistled time in just as Terrence Jones hit the sidelines, and Warman was a little slow coming on, unaware that they started the 22nd clock. So the Stampeders are pushed back even further into their end. And it'll be 2nd down and 31 yards to go. Stampeders at their 10.5. Not the down you'd want to be looking at your first play in at quarterback. Warman screens to McVeigh. Don Moen can't stop McVeigh, but 2 other Argos can. And down him at the 19. Well, Terrence Jones hurt again. We talked to him before the game and asked him how his injured left shoulder was feeling.
Well, it's pretty good right now. It's not all the way 100, but it's to a point where I can play with it. And I'm kind of I think I'm a rough character playing the sport, and you have to be. So I'm not going to back down because of it. I'm not going to try to think about it because it's there. So why worry about it? And I'm just going to try to go out and play a hard football game tonight.
Brent Matic punting for Calgary. And Mike Clemens at the 50 of the Argos looked like he was going to take it up the middle and made that very quick step to the outside. And look at him. He's to the 30, the 25, and inside the 20 to the Argo 18.
Once again, Clemens makes people miss. Watch right after he catches the ball. Dave Sapungis has a pretty good shot at him. Extra time to come down. There's number 25. Makes the right adjustment. He's got him to the inside, and all of a sudden he's gone.
41-yard punt. Clemens returned it 42 yards. He was averaging almost 15 yards a punt return coming into this game, and he'll have stayed at that level and probably bumped it a little bit with his performance tonight. So the Argos with 50 already on the board with a chance for more. The toss to Clemens. Now this is a live ball. I don't know how he'll get out of this fix, and he won't. He's down at the 26-yard line, and he loses 8 or 9 on the play. 12:06 left in the fourth quarter. And there's a comparison of 3 of the top punt returners, maybe the top 3 in the CFL. 2 of them in the game tonight, Clemens and Crawford. And you see the great average that Clemens has, and Crawford as well. Toronto second down and long from the 25 of Calgary. Foggy, and he gets away. Gets around the corner. Ricky Foggy. He'll score a touchdown.
Retracing your footsteps. Foggy's going to sprint to the right. Everything's set up. There goes the guard. Both sides. Watch from the backside. Mark Singer will come into your screen right here. He's got a kill shot on Foggy. But the awareness of knowing what's around you, he takes a quick step back. And now the race is on. Cuts back behind Boyd right here. Mazzoti's upfield. And that insult to injury. He drilled somebody in the end zone.
Well, Foggy has thrown a couple of touchdown passes and has scored a touchdown on a run himself. Actually, yeah, he scored 2 touchdowns and has passed for 2.
Just an outstanding effort. That's all you can say. Will Johnson is down. Will Johnson got hit by Mark Singer. Singer went for the shot and really swung off Foggy, and I think their legs got tangled up, and I believe Johnson got the worst of the hit. You're going to see that at the point of attack when Foggy sets up. Singer will come in right there. See Johnson get hit when Singer swung around. Damage. The shot was taken by the right knee, but this is just great. I mean, look at this guy.
Well, when he played at the University of Minnesota, he set all sorts of records, and he did it with that kind of athletic ability.
And the BC Lions have to wonder why they ever let him get away.
Well, the Lions didn't expect to lose him, in fairness to them. As I say, they had him on their practice roster, and you can go in and take players from practice rosters as long as you activate them immediately, and that's what the Argos did. And Wally Buono would have had no inkling at all that this could happen to his club. He spoke very positively today, felt good about things, as most coaches will before a game.
Well, you just never know, though. I mean, teams can practice throughout a week before a game in preparation and look great. The attitude can be good. Everybody can be up. Everyone's healthy. But when the ball's kicked off, things can change. And as you said, I'm sure this isn't the picture Wally Buono has painted for his team, as the Argos have dominated throughout the game and continue.
9 minutes 52 seconds left in the game at the Sky Dome. Bob Irving and Neil Lumsden. The Argos have 57 points. Their season high is 68. The CFL record for points in a game is 82. I don't think the Argos will top that tonight, but they certainly have had their offense clicking in high gear with Foggy and Dunnigan at quarterback. Jeff Boyd on the receiving end of that pass from Foggy. Here's the story of tonight's game. Matt Dunnigan off to a good start and injured. Terrence Jones, the quarterback for the Stampeders, also hurt. Ricky Foggy has come on and done a terrific job in relief of Dunnigan. Darrell Smith, a huge night, 8 catches, 198 yards. And the Argos had 29 points in the first half before Calgary got any.
You think they're going to try to get Smith the ball one more time, let him get over that 200 yards? Not that I think they know he's 2 away, but it would be nice for him if he could do that.
Foggy fakes a handoff and throws and completes to Clemens. Nice block by Darrell Smith. Springs Clemens down the sidelines, out of bounds at the Calgary 40.
You're right, Bob. A little bit of extra effort downfield turns a catch over the middle from 15 yards into a bigger gain, and you called the number, Darrell Smith. A little bit of a fake there, holds the linebackers, but watch the block number 1 puts on. Right there. Gets a shoulder into him, slows him down, and then Clemens just gets an opportunity to do what he does as well or better than anybody.
Well, the Argos now have 562 yards in offense this evening, and they're at the Calgary 40 with a first down. You had heard the fans chanting, "We want 60." They may get it as Clemens is to the 30, still on his feet and down at the 25. Warnock had to come all the way back and help on the tackle.
Well, I'll give the Stampeders one thing. They're getting ripped pretty good this evening, but they haven't stopped hustling and going to the ball. Warnock, number 93. See him right there? He misses the tackle, but watch very closely to who gets in on the tackle downfield when Clemens does start to come down. 93.
Well, that takes a lot of drive to do that. Warnock was down on that play after missing Clemens, gets back up, chases him down. Tremendous hustle. And as Wally Buono searches for highlights in the game film, that will be one of them. Small consolation, but something to maybe feel a little bit positive about. Foggy from the 25. Lots of time. Steps away from Warnock. Puts it up for Darrell Smith. Touchdown!
There are only so many ways to describe when players do things well, but when they go past good into excellent, like Ricky Foggy is doing here, evading a tackler in Warnock and getting the ball right on the money. Smith doesn't even break stride. He throws it to the open area and to the corner.
Look, the Stampeders aren't having a very good night, but Foggy has thrown some absolutely beautiful passes, and here's a fake on the convert. And Kangemi is tackled, so the 2-point convert attempt fails, and the Argo lead is 63-18.
What I tell you, Ellie? I told you, baby.
This is how he gets to the corner. He begins to bend in a little bit and stops. Now he's got Thomas on his outside because of that move, and then he just accelerates. If the ball's thrown as well as that ball was thrown, there's very little Albert Thomas could do. But watch.
Ricky Foggy's just having fun out here tonight. He's thrown for 3 touchdowns. He's run for 2 in relief of Matt Dunnigan, who was injured early in the second quarter. And Darrell Smith is having one of the larger games in the history of the CFL, catching the football. Prince Hal Patterson had the best ever. Tyrone Gray with BC, number 2 in yardage, and Brian Kelly, who was one of the greats.
Never out there too far where I can't come get you. Hey, Eddie Ross, Stika. Hey, how y'all doing out there in California?
Touchdowns and hellos and everything else. The Argos have done it all tonight. As the Stampeders return the kickoff, Eddie Brown is out to their 42-yard line. Stampeders, Rick Warman screen to Darrell Wallace. Wallace tripped up as he crossed the 45 up to the 47-yard line.
I think Wally Buono, when he started, knew that there were going to be some ups and downs as a head coach in the CFL. He's seen it as an assistant coach when he was with Calgary last couple of years. But they had a great start, and they should be credited with that start. But they've hit some tough times, and they've got to get through that. And how they will do that, I'm not really sure.
4 wins and a tie in their first 5, unbeaten, as you said, Neil. Now the roof has kind of fallen in. There's a pass from Warman, complete to Sean Beals to the Argo 46 for a first down. Don Matthews looking on, very pleased that his creation is working so well again tonight.
His creation?
Well, he has this team playing the kind of football he loves. They're taking more chances on defense as they go along and become more comfortable with one another. And on offense, they're trying to shoot the lights out. And in recent games, boy, have they ever been doing it. Warman to Alan Pitts as the Argos play that soft defense, and the Stampeders are able to move the ball. Darrell Smith with the 223 yards he has tonight. That's not an Argo Club record. As a matter of fact, Terry Greer had 3 games better than that in yardage on receptions, 246, 243, and Greer also had a 230-yard night catching passes. 5:16 left in the fourth quarter at the Sky Dome. Bob Irving and Neil Lumsden and the Toronto Argos. Let me see if I can come up with the right word to describe this. No, I can't. 63 Toronto, 18 Stampeders. That tells the story better than I can. That's over 60 points for the Argos in each of their last 2 games at the Sky Dome. And they're going to play 4 of their last 6 after tonight at the Sky Dome.
There's no place like home. As long as the field's in good shape, that is.
Which it wasn't and isn't. Luckily, nobody's been hurt on it.
Woo! Argos! Kicking butt. I want to go home. But no. We can't breathe. We can't breathe.
Stampeders from the Argo 29. Rick Warman dumps it off to Wallace, steps out of bounds at the 23-yard line for a gain of 6. General manager of the Stamps, Normie Kwong, watching the dismantling of his team tonight. And a little happier crew just a few feet down. Mike McCarthy, the Argos general manager, taking it all in stride tonight. Wants a little closer look at the proceedings. 4:58 left now at the Sky Dome. And Rick Warman and the Stampeders look at a 2nd down and 4 from the Argo 23. Warman won't get away from the rush this time. Smith brings him down. Big Rob Smith, who's been alternating with Keith Browner. Smith is 6'7", 270, same size as Browner.
Both, according to Don Matthews, possess good quickness. Smith from Grambling could possibly spark and give them that 5th down lineman that they've been looking for, so they can alternate and rotate people in there.
Stamps will go for it. 3rd and 12. Warman throws, has a man open and has the ball to him at the 15. That's Beals. He's inside of the 13 for a Stampeder first down with 4 minutes to go. Sean Beals, a rookie from Idaho State, and he has just recently broken into the starting lineup. This is his 4th game as a starter. He spent the first 8 on the practice roster, and he's really looked good.
They had a great preseason, but at the time, Wally Buono felt that it's best to sit him down and go with the personnel he had chosen. But when Beals did get an opportunity, he has showed very well, not only just catching the ball, but catching the ball in traffic.
Rick Warman throws, and it's intercepted by Reggie Pleasant. Reggie Pleasant to center field to the Calgary 50 and down to the 45.
ball that shouldn't have been thrown. Warman is throwing to the corner, and evidently he's throwing to where he believes the receiver is going, trying to anticipate that. You see the receiver, he's well past where Reggie Pleasant catches the football.
That's the 8th interception of the year for Reggie Pleasant, but he'd been shut out in the last 5 games.
Warman making the move before the ball was even caught. He starts taking a good pursuit angle to try to get in on the tackle.
So the Argos have 63 points. They're now at the Calgary 45. Mike Clemens carries and gets a couple. That's Jerry Eiffel in the game now as they rest Clemens. We have 2 minutes 49 seconds left in the 4th quarter. And how many more will they score? An objectionable conduct penalty against Calgary as we went away gave Toronto a first down, and Jerry Eiffel carries for 7 or 8 yards. Eiffel getting a chance to go in and play with the big lead by the Argos. Wally Buono watching the clock and hoping this will end sometime soon.
Hoping for a power failure. The clock goes out.
Well, these are nights that are sent to test you as a head coach. It's the first, not the first such one Wally's had, because the Eskimos clobbered the Stampeders pretty good a couple of times earlier, but 63-18 is a little bit much. 2nd down and a couple, and the handoff goes to Nastasiuk, who's in there, and he gets close to a first down for the Argos with 2:01 left. Fans were chanting a few minutes ago, we want 60. They have that. Don't hear any chance of we want 70, but that's what the Argos will have if they get a touchdown and a convert.
Don Matthews having the opportunity now to play some people that are normally in a secondary role. Jerry Eiffel, Paul Nastasiuk, Howard Dell, 28's lining up a wide receiver. So this proves to be a good training ground, these types of games, for players that maybe need it down the stretch in a very important situation.
Foggy hands off to Eiffel. And he's to the 1-yard line. Jerry Eiffel, a rookie from McGill. And he's all the way down to the Calgary 1-yard line.
Well, McGill has produced some pretty good running backs of late. Eiffel being one, Michael Souls and Edmonton being the other. And look at him blow through here.
Looks a little bit like Pinball Clemens. He's somewhat the same stature, good quickness. He really popped through that hole.
Well, he's got those fresh legs. He hasn't really been as busy as the rest of the starters. And that's tough on a defense, too. They've been slugging it out, chasing the quarterbacks all over the field, not having a lot of success. And some guy comes in and just explodes, as Eiffel did.
Eiffel quite a bit bigger than Clemens at 5'7", 185. He's got him by 1 inch and 10 pounds. And it's been a long, tough night for the Calgary Stampeders. The good news for them is they have 10 days before their next game. Chance to do some work. They need some work.
Well, we wish all the best to Jerry Eiffel, and hopefully it's not as serious as it might look right now.
Well, coaches in these situations, Neil, they hope games like this will end fairly soon, and they also hope that nobody gets hurt. And they hope that all the time, but I think even more so in this circumstance where you're just kind of trying to finish it off. Foggy, the toss on the left side, easy touchdown for Mike Clemens, and it's 69-18 Argos.
Well, when you look at a replay of that touchdown, you will see 2 receivers downfield blocking, and the Argos on the left side with Chris Schultz and Dan Ferroni. There's just nothing but room. They just do a great job at the point of attack and the receivers downfield.
And Lance Chomick will attempt the convert. A minute 12 to go. Chomick makes it an even 70, and this is the second highest number of points scored by one team in a game in CFL history. 70 points. The record is held by Montreal. They scored 82 in 1956 in beating Hamilton 82-14. Hamilton had 67 and Winnipeg 65. So the Argos now have the second highest number of points for one team in a game at 70.
You're on a roll.
.636 yards. Argos 235 over their season average, and the 70 points, that should almost get them up to 40 a game. 465 now in 12 games. Not quite. They're stalled at about 38. Here's the kickoff. Eddie Brown has some trouble with it, and is surrounded at the 20, gets away and is able to get out to the 21-yard line. And all your years with the Eskimos, you were involved in some games like this, always on the long end of the score. What are the last few minutes like?
Well, I was going to say, I've been at both sides of the coin. When I started in Toronto, I was in a couple of situations. The score was not this high, but you know, when it gets to a point, it doesn't matter. You've been beaten soundly, and that's all you remember, because they don't look up at the scoreboard. You just really want to get out of town. That's it. Get the game over with. And as on the other side of it, when I was in Edmonton, we scored an awful lot of points, and you always had fun doing it. But I think when it was over, you looked over and some of the people you know and some of your friends, and you felt badly for them. But it's always nice to win.
Tom Porras will play a little quarterback. That pass is caught out of bounds. Well, the fun light has been on for the Argos all night long. In terms of the game result, again, injuries have marred this for them a little bit. Tom Porras let go by the Argos just a few weeks ago, a couple of weeks ago. Rick Warman looks on. He replaced Terrence Jones and now has been replaced by Tom Porras. 57 seconds left. As Porras guns the pass complete up to the 26-yard line. Spallettini in the game making the catch. And the Stampeders will have to punt. So this gives Saskatchewan a chance to move into second place in the West if they can beat Winnipeg in Winnipeg on Sunday. And the Blue Bombers will be out to regain their first place lead on Toronto. Argos 7-5 after tonight. Winnipeg sitting at 7-4. Good punt by Matic. Mike Clemens chases it back to his 34. And Clemens will go nowhere with this one. Andy McVeigh hustling down to make the tackle.
Good solid downfield tackle, something not a lot of the Stampeders have been able to do, is being in a one-on-one situation with Mike Clemens.
Well, we haven't seen any really bizarre stuff from the Argos in terms of fake plays and that kind of thing tonight, have we?
No.
Just basic.
But again, why, when you get a lead, why disclose?
Right.
You know,
Basic.
I know they've got them.
Down your throat football.
I think the Stampeders still have to look at the big picture, and talking with Wally Bonham before the game, the ideal scenario, if we could paint a picture how it was going to end for the Stampeders this year, the regular season, is that have it come down to the final game of the year at McMahon Stadium, hosting the Edmonton Eskimos and having the game being played for first place.
Well, this won't aid in that effort. Naturally, the Argos have decided that they have enough points. And with 32 seconds left on the clock, are going to just take the ball and kneel and let the time expire. So a long night at the Skydome Command, a night that started 20 minutes late because of the condition of the field. And we'll end with the Stampeders on the short end of a pummeling that they won't soon forget. Well, we talked about all the scoring Toronto has done, 70 points. Second highest total by one team in a game in CFL history. And there it is. The game is over. It has ended mercifully for the Calgary Stampeders. And a great night for Don Matthews and his Toronto Argos. They have now won 4 games in a row. They've moved into a tie for first place in the East with Winnipeg. The Bombers with a game in hand. And for the Stampeders, just a night that they will remember, but with no fondness whatsoever. Toronto 70, Calgary 18. Don't adjust your set. That's what happened.